Alright, so today we have a bit of an update video. This is kind of something I was planning to at least readdress at some point, especially after recently I was just mentioned in a Right Opinion video. I think a lot of you guys came over from that, so thank you very much. But I was going to kind of readdress the topic because there had been some new developments and things that had happened since I made the video. But today we're going to be talking about the DaddyOFive, familyofive, whatever you want to call it situation, and how it evolved, and the more recent news right now in which their probation sentence was actually reduced. So we're kind of going to talk about some of the stuff that went into that and different situations, and then a lot of people just wanted my thoughts and opinions on some of the things that happened since then. So if you guys aren't aware, back in July, I made a video talking about how DaddyOFive, after getting kicked off the DaddyOFive channel, ended up moving everything over to the MommyOFive channel, and they rebranded under the name familyofive. So in my video, I talk about how, for the most part, they were keeping the vlogs and the videos a little bit more family-friendly, but they were still showcasing a lot of that violence, a lot of that just really negative behavior that got them pulled off the site in the first place. Even right in their channel trailer, right? Like the first thing that you saw when you went to their site was like kids giving in like headlocks and screaming and different things like that. And then the other thing I commented on was how there was really no remorse to the situation. Mike, the father, seemed more concerned with like how far the channel could have gone. There wasn't really any remorse for what they had done to Cody and Emma, and really no mention of the fact that the state actually deemed them neglectful parents and took their children from me. And I just want to say that neglectful, that's a low sentence for what they actually did to those two kids. So they really should have just kind of thanked their lucky stars and got the F off the internet for a little bit, shouldn't they have? But no, the Martins did not, because they can't see that they did anything wrong, so they went right back to uploading videos. So I commented on that, pointed out how technically if you get removed from the site as yourself, you can't make another YouTube channel. So at times we've seen this more recently with Mumkey Jones. All of his channels got deleted. He tried to move over to different ones and restart from one of his other brands, and then those channels ended up getting deleted too. If you get removed from YouTube on one channel, that carries over to the other channel. So like right off the bat, right there, he should not have been able to have a channel. Now the other thing there was that their sentencing actually said that they couldn't feature the kids that were removed in any kind of video. So I probably would have extended that to the fact that they shouldn't have put any of their kids on the internet, but technically, I really do think that only scoped and went over Cody and Emma. So once I made my video, it kind of rebuilt traction. Somebody ended up posting it to Reddit. It hit the front page of Reddit, and then it kind of blew up from there. And then ultimately, the familyofive channel was taken off of YouTube. And then that's kind of where it left it. I didn't end up posting any updates about it for a variety of reasons. For one, I was dealing with a metric fuck ton of hate, all sorts of like crazy things, and a threatened lawsuit. I was actually threatened with a lawsuit, so I was like, there's a lot of other people talking about this right now. I can probably take a step back from it. And I also didn't want to seem like I was trying to like cash in on the situation. All the money that I made from that video, I ended up donating to Kids Help Phone, which is an organization in Canada that helps kids who are dealing with like abuse, bullying, sexual abuse, like parental neglect. It's just an overall resource for kids to reach out to, so I thought that would be really cool. I did like a charity stream. That video, before it got demonetized and age restricted, which completely cut off any ability for it to make money, made like, I think around $250 or something like that. I ended up donating like $2,300 or something along those lines. So that's just in there for any of their remaining fans that come in here saying that I'm just trying to like cash in off the situation. I didn't keep any of that money. I didn't keep any of it. But if you thought that it would have been bad for me to keep the money on a video where I was talking about parents who abused their children for money on YouTube, what do you want to say to the parents who abused their children for money on YouTube? I don't know. I can't be bothered. These people are insane. The number of people that came at me, only like a fraction of them were kids. So many of them were adults. Yes, a lot of kids came in just blindly believing all the random little lies that Mike and Heather told. That I totally get. Kids lack critical thinking. But there was a ton of adults coming at me too. And I don't know if it's like, what do you do to your children at home that you want to defend this guy? But Whatever. So after everything went down on YouTube, they started streaming on Twitch, and then not long after that, they ended up announcing that they were going to upload vlogs on a website under a paid subscription model. You'd have to send them $5 a month, and then you would get access to the vlogs. Obviously, a lot of the younger fans were not a fan of this because they didn't have money. They're upset. They just wanted them to put the content on YouTube because they're too young to understand what it means when you get banned off of YouTube. So they moved into that, which was kind of concerning because nobody would really be able to check what those videos were unless people were re-uploading them or if somebody who didn't like them was sending them money. And I just didn't like the idea of sending them money. So I was just assuming that everything was kind of on the up and up there, that they'd be a little bit more careful considering that was the second time they have lost a major avenue of money. But I don't know, maybe there was some bad stuff there. But one of the big things that happened after that video was that the kids uploaded a video saying that all of it was fake and staged. That it's pretend. They act. I'm not gonna show any of the footage because I don't want this video to get age restricted, but if you wanna search my channel right now, just look up familyofive or DaddyOFive manipulation. If you just look up either of those, watch that one, and there's a lot, it'll show you a lot of what happened to those kids, and you can't pretend that, you can't act that, and kids can't consent to that. It doesn't matter if you say, hey, we're gonna do a prank today where Jake's gonna like body slam you into the ground and we're gonna chokehold you and pull you in 3 different directions. But if you do it, we're gonna go to Disneyland. You can't do that to a kid. You can't incentivize a kid in that way. So if they're trying to say that everything was fake and staged right from the beginning, they're lying. And 2, even if that was somehow the case, those would be the best child actors I've ever experienced my entire life. And 2, again, you cannot set kids up in that way. It's not like acting in a movie where it is actually all fake and kids have on-site child psychologists to talk them through the weird scenes, and they do everything in their power to make sure that those kids don't interact too much with things that they shouldn't be. This is just some random family. So luckily, like I said, after that, both those kids were removed, sent to the regular mother. She kind of got in contact with me through someone else. Apparently the kids are doing a lot better, which is great to hear. Cody and Emma are doing a lot better, which is really great to hear. But it was the other 3 brothers that said, hey, you know, this is all fake, it's staged. And they showed this behind the scenes video. Why would you shoot a behind the scenes video to only put it up after you get called out for still having a YouTube channel? Why would you do that? It almost seems like they did it specifically so they could have this one video behind the scenes to be like, okay, kids, if we get accused of abusing you again, we gotta put this video up to make sure that no one says shit, okay? So again, for all the people who come at me saying, hey, the videos were fake and staged, 1, whatever happened to Cody and Emma, what was happening on the DaddyOFive channel was not fake, was not staged. It was terrible, it was abusive, it was heartbreaking, and to even pretend otherwise is disgusting and makes you a disgusting human being. Now, what was happening on the newer channel, I even admitted that most of it wasn't as bad. There were still some instances where the kids were being put in moments of high stress and high tension, and honestly, based on watching them act when it's obvious they're acting, I don't think a lot of it was acting. And again, you can't just be like, okay, we're gonna get you to stranglehold your brother right now, make it look good. You can't set up kids that can't consent to things to consent to abuse for a YouTube video, to consent to that kind of stuff. It's a clear violation of your parental rights, and it's disgusting that you did it to make money on YouTube. And again, it really just comes down to the fact that it doesn't matter how family friendly the new channel was, you couldn't have a YouTube channel. You got banned on YouTube. No one wanted you there. You can't just decide, I'm gonna bring back a YouTube channel doing the same things, but just cut out some of the severity now that we've had to send away the 2 kids that we liked abusing the most. You did the crime and now you kind of have to own up to it and deal with the consequences of that. So that brings us to now. And like I said, they just been kind of uploading videos on that second site. Those kids now have their own channel, which is apparently under the grandmother's name, which is weird because I'm pretty sure Jake, the older son, would be able to get his own YouTube channel. I don't think they would need any adult involvement, but whatever, it's apparently the grandparents' channel. Mike has gone above and beyond to try to say that he has nothing to do with it, even though he's appeared in some of the videos, which again is just risky business there. But it's such a messy situation because while they were kind of complicit in some of the abuse that was going on, and I really don't think that they realize the things they did, especially the oldest son. It's not really their fault they were in that situation because they were clearly raised and encouraged and rewarded to be that way. So it's a messy situation that you don't really want to punish them for the sins of the parents, but the whole family is just washed in this moral ambiguity. So I don't know how to deal with that, but that's why, like, I'm not going to personally attack their channel. I'm not going to do anything like that. It's just it's a toad line, and I'm sure YouTube's aware of it, and we'll see what happens there. But they have every right to have their own YouTube channels, and it makes sense that they would want their own YouTube channel. So that was my opinion there. Yeah, Heather ended up posting something on their familyofive website, which is where they were uploading those vlogs for the paid subscription, and I think it coincides with this new court date that they had, which I'll get to in a second, but this is what they said. So today we had our hands tied. In order to move on with the healing process from the 2017 events, we have agreed willingly to remove our videos from even this site. For the sake and well-being of our family, Mike and I feel it is best that we take a long break from public spotlight. That's what you should have done after you had 2 children removed from you for neglect because you were abusing them in YouTube videos. My God, woman. And again, everything with the healing process. You haven't even apologized for what you've done. You don't think you've done anything wrong. And it's every time they put out something like this, it's to address their minimal amount of loyal fans that believe every piece of trash that comes out of their mouths. They can't even apologize. All they do is lament about how things could have been if that Philip DeFranco guy didn't get involved. When other people start talking about them, they're just looking for their 15 minutes of fame. I was just looking for my 15 minutes of fame. I had no idea my video was gonna get posted on Reddit. I just made a video doing what I always do. So the fact that you are unwilling to admit your own mistakes is why you keep running into these problems. We will remain in contact with you guys via our social medias. You will forever be a family to us. We have done everything we could to move on and rebuild our lives, except apologize for abusing your children for money on the internet. What we went through was life-changing and life-altering experience. I would hope that having 2 children removed from you for abuse would be life-altering. Our true story has yet to be captured. Fuck off. I only hope that one day it can be, so no other family or person has to go through what we went through as a family and as parents, or as parents and as a family. Yes, I really hope that prank channels and family vloggers learn, hey, it's probably not a good idea to escalate this to the level that our kids are beating each other up and that we're throwing our own kids into things and screaming at them and hollering at them and like making fun of them when they're clearly having like psychotic breakdowns. Yeah, I really hope that other family-friendly channels learn that they shouldn't do that. For fuck's sake, Heather, you're terrible. For those that have stood by our side, no amount of thank you would ever be enough. Please remember to cancel your PayPal automatic transaction for your subscription, as we have no control over that. Anyways, the boys will remain making videos on their YouTube channel, The Martin Boys. That channel is owned, operated, and managed by their grandparents. Mike and I have nothing to do with that channel in any way. This is not goodbye, only until we see you again. Because yes, everybody likes to point out that Mike's the one that doesn't want to go away. It's both of them. It's all of them. They're like the whack-a-mole. It's just gonna keep coming back up in a different direction, and I'm sorry. You lost the right to have a successful online career the second you decided that being popular and making money on YouTube was more important than the well-being of your children. I can't even. So anyways, that brings us to this news article dealing with their court date, which I think is why they ultimately ended up removing most of those videos. It was probably because their lawyer asked them to, because the biological mother of Cody and Emma ended up reporting that, hey, they're still uploading videos of the family, even though a lot of it got removed off of YouTube. They are now just doing it behind a paywall. Is that not a violation of the probation that says that they're not allowed doing this kind of stuff for the next 5 years? But that didn't matter to Judge Teresa M. Adams, who decided to not only reduce their 5-year probation sentence from supervised probation to non-supervised probation. So you've got people that have been towing the line, doing things that they probably shouldn't have been doing legally after abusing their kids on the internet, and have on numerous times not shown any remorse for the actions that they did. They really just feel bad that they had to stop, that it blew up in their face. Like, that's what they feel bad about. They don't feel bad about what they did to their kids and what they put their kids through. They just feel bad that it fell apart. And then on top of that, they can actually seek to have their entire everything expunged from the records after 3 years. In 3 years, they can, I don't know if that's 3 years after the probation's done, or it just in 3 years, they can actually file to have that expunged from their records. Because apparently there's an expiration date on abusing your kids, and that is apparently after 3 years. This is disgusting. So their lawyer did say that I don't think my clients have violated the orders because the order itself was fairly specific, but they probably shouldn't have just gone back to doing the same kind of thing. But again, YouTube law and YouTube rules, I should say, are different than actual court rulings. So YouTube can say if we ban your channel and remove you from the site, you are not allowed just to restart under a new name, under a new channel. You can't do that. That's a violation of our terms and service. That's why their channel was removed. They can blame anybody else they want to in the world, but the reason why their channel was removed primarily was because enough people said, hey, these guys are still doing a lot of the same things they did before, and even without that, they're not allowed having a channel. Mike Martin cannot have a channel and cannot be a driving force behind a channel. That's the primary thing there. So they can blame anybody else they want. It doesn't matter. Now, beyond that, the only thing the judge ordered was that they had to specifically work with YouTube to remove the re-uploaded videos. So it's pretty normal that people continuously re-upload just kind of like the full videos that they had under different channels, under like fan accounts, under documentation accounts, people being like, hey, don't forget that this happened, that kind of stuff. So they actually have to work diligently to have a lot of those removed, which is good because for the protection and privacy of the children, like it sucks that Cody and Emma, it's going to be a long time before they have any sense of a normal life. And honestly, that's my biggest regret from the first video, was just assuming that because I thought everybody had already seen the footage, I didn't blur their faces. That's literally my only regret. I should have blurred the kids' faces. I just kind of wanted to update people on the situation and just kind of where that whole saga is now. This is something that people continuously ask me to talk about. I'm continuously asked my opinion on the different things that happened, but as many other people have said, if you don't have remorse for the actions that you've done and you're going to use manipulation tactics to get the few people, and I say few, but it is a large dedicated fan base. It's a quite large fan base. So if you're going to use that manipulation tactics to get that very young, impressionable, naive fan base on your side and not ever admit that you did anything wrong, you're never going to stop trying to get back what you had, which is what we're seeing with Mike here, because there's no remorse and because of his very expert use of manipulation tactics of his viewer base. There's now been this kind of like build around situation where he and Heather think that they're in the right because they're getting enough positive reinforcement back at them, and they just refuse to admit that they did anything wrong. It's disgusting. I hate it. It makes me so sad. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys have any comments or questions, please make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. I know that this was a lot of information that I went on for. This is probably a little bit longer of a video than what is normally on this channel, but it's an important topic and it deserves the time. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. I'll catch you all later.